Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Some of you may know this, but this past weekend I actually attended TwitchCon. So, very exciting stuff there. And the question on everybody's mind is, was TwitchCon worth it? Should I have bought my ticket? Should I have waited? Will I go next year? We're going to tackle all of that today. I actually did go, like I said, so I'm going to be kind of recounting my experience, telling you guys what I thought about all the different individual aspects, and giving you my perspective on that. Now, I do have to tell you, I am sick right now. So if I sniffle a little or sneeze, I apologize. We're a couple days past TwitchCon at this point. I waited too long for this video, and I'm excited to make it. So with that being said, guys, go to twitch.tv/Chrisalanius. Leave me a follow if you're interested in seeing any of my gameplay, any of that stuff. There's a link tree down in the description where you can find me on all social media platforms. Also, put a comment down below if you have any specific questions about TwitchCon or about me or anything like that. Let me know. I'd love to get back to you, tell you what I think. But with that being said, let's jump into it. So, I attended TwitchCon this past weekend, and asking around prior to the event, it seemed that the general consensus was that it wasn't really clear if the experience would be worth the time it takes to go to San Diego for TwitchCon or the price. Tickets were about $200 for 3 days, $229 if you wanted to attend the TwitchCon party, which I did, or $129 for 1 day. So by itself, those prices maybe don't seem too crazy. Maybe they do. I don't know your financial situation. But for the first TwitchCon in a couple of years, besides some other one, I think this might be the first one in a couple of years in the US, but I digress. That price isn't incredibly outrageous when you know what's going on kind of there actually at the event, but that's the biggest problem people had is they didn't know what the event was or what to expect, and a lot of people were hesitant on paying that price unaware of what they were really going to be getting out of it. So let's take a closer look. That wasn't the only expense people had to worry about either. So those are just the tickets, but a lot of people had to either rent hotels or Airbnbs, which were expensive because of the event. They had to drive hundreds or thousands of miles, depending where you came from, or buy plane tickets. Now that plus spending money and the cost of the food in the area, which was expensive, by the way, I can understand why people were hesitant to attend TwitchCon with all those things. So today I'll be telling you about my 3-day plus the party experience and evaluating if the cost of this trip and the event was worth the experience that I had. So like I said, friendly reminder, I do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Chrisalanius right there, and also down in the corner under my microphone there. If you don't know how to spell it, it's also the name of the channel. Like, come on, guys, I can't walk you through everything. But to tell you a little bit more, TwitchCon, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically a 3-day event that celebrates Twitch streamers and allows them all to gather in one place to network, meet bigger streamers, form brand connections, and overall experience Twitch streaming from other people's perspective. It gets more intricate than that. There's a lot more that goes into it, but that's kind of like the Cliff Note explanation. Cliff Note, Spark Note, whatever. That's just like the quick explanation of what it is. We'll be going over more of the specifics specifically in this video. So by the end of this, you'll have a clear idea of kind of what you think TwitchCon really was. And if you don't, like I said, comments in the description. Questions in the comments, and I'll be able to kind of add any additional insight that I might have gathered from attending the event myself. So I want to also start by addressing health concerns, COVID-19. Obviously, last couple of years, that's been a big deal. But while COVID is becoming increasingly addressable for many, it is still a huge concern that a lot of people still consider, obviously, and are concerned about. TwitchCon did try to ensure that their attendance had a safe experience. I don't know if they did the best job of this, but I don't think they did a bad job. Face masks were required, which I think was unnecessary for a couple reasons. Mainly because with Twitch streamers, everybody's wearing some kind of branded or a logo face mask or whatever. All kinds of face masks that don't really prevent the spread of COVID-19. So, I'm not against wearing face masks for events like this, but considering they didn't require a specific kind of face mask, and it wasn't enforced after the first day, it was just kind of like whatever. Some booths did, but overall the event didn't enforce it the second or third day. But yeah, I think if this was how it was going to be, if they weren't going to require a specific kind of face mask, they really should have just not required face mask. And the other reason why I'm comfortable saying that is also because they did require all attendants to just kidding. They required all attendants to verify their COVID status prior to attending the event. That means either proving that you're vaccinated or proving that you have a negative COVID test within 72 hours of attending the event. So, like I said, I would have been comfortable without face mask because everybody there had to either be vaccinated or be COVID free. I do think that they could have put like hand sanitizer stations at a lot of the public areas or places where, people are taking different turns, like claw machines, computers, things like that. But I digress. That's just a personal thought. I know COVID is a touchy subject. I'm just speaking from a general point of view on everything leading up to it and my perception. So, but they did at least attempt to make sure that people were protected, and I think that's worth noting. So, jumping past that, the nitty-gritty, on the first day, whatever your first day was, you had to go through a couple steps before you could actually enter the event. You obviously had to check in and provide your COVID test or vaccination information. If you downloaded the app that they recommended, it was actually a fairly simple process. It took me about 5 minutes to get through the line, verify my COVID status, and get into the basically just get my pass saying that I was okay to enter. Now, if you didn't download the app that they recommended, I feel like it did take longer. They did have separate lines for if you did and didn't. But if you do attend in the future, I recommend downloading and doing that in advance. But after getting through your COVID screening, if you will, there was another line to enter the main event. Now, these had longer lines than the original COVID lines, but it was separated by community member, affiliate, and partner. So there were 3 different lines. And while the first day was actually the worst overall with these lines, they got a lot better the second and third day. And even on the first day when it was at its worst, the line was not as bad as I expected it to be. People from previous TwitchCon or who attended previous TwitchCons said that the lines are absolutely terrible. That wasn't a concern for me during this event. I have to be honest. I mean, with a big event like TwitchCon, you're going to have some line waiting. I don't want to say that wasn't existent, but it was not a big deal at all. Later on, we'll jump into meet and greets. Depending on the streamer you're going to meet, some of those lines got a little long, but those are optional lines. You can weigh if it's worth it to you or not. It's not to get in or to buy something. So that's up to you. But that being said, after getting through those lines, whether it be affiliate, community member, or partner, you go to pick up your affiliate or partner gift respectively. I'm not really sure what the partners got, but as an affiliate, I got this package with Twitch-themed stickers, shoelaces, and a Twitch pen. Everyone in attendance also got a... Hold please. Everyone in attendance also got a TwitchCon bag, a little bit bigger than a cell phone. Whoa. There you go. A little bit bigger than a cell phone. Very cool stuff there. Now, was the affiliate gift and the Twitch bag worth the price of the ticket? Absolutely not. But that's just a small part of what the convention had. I figured that's a great way to start it out. They give you something for just attending. They're glad you're there. I appreciate that that's how we started it out. And also they had bag restrictions, so the fact that the bag they give you is actually pretty neat and meets those restrictions is helpful. If you didn't bring something that met their guidelines, you have something because they gave it to you. So now, upon entering the convention center, most people's first stop was going to be the exhibition floor. This is also where I believe people spent most of their time. If you've never been to a convention center, this is essentially a giant department store-sized room where game developers, sponsors, app developers, equipment brands, and much more set up booths for you to explore at your leisure as you're walking the exhibition floor. Now, immediately after entering that exhibition hall, you find the TwitchCon loot cave, which I thought it was awesome, actually. This was basically the Twitch merch store, and it depends on your style. It seems like there was a little something for everyone. My entire group bought Twitch pillows. They were affordable but still high quality items, and they also had some more premium items as well. I picked up a couple buttons. I picked up a Twitch pillow, this zip up hoodie. Oh, it's on this side. Twitch hoodie. 3 shirts and some Twitch socks. So if you had a Capital One card, you actually got a discount and you got to enter in a shorter line, which was awesome. So I really appreciate how much they separate the lines and give you opportunities to skip past or move along faster. So, like I said, my biggest concern, I think, going into this was, are these lines really going to be as terrible as everybody's making them out to be? They were not at all. But the TwitchCon Loot Cave was sweet. They offered a way to get you additional savings if you had their sponsor's card. And they had cheap items. They had more expensive items. But they had quite a wide range. Like, I just got this hoodie and some basic shirts with, like, the Twitch logo. But they had more creative things. They had water bottles. They had socks. They had U2's collaboration. So there was really something there for everybody. And I feel like when I say cheap, I want to, like, take a second to focus on that, because their shirts and some other items were fairly affordable, especially if you had the Capital One card. But they were not poor quality at all. I think the shirts I got were $20 a piece, which obviously that's more than going down to Walmart or whatever. But they were high quality shirts. Like, I loved them. I bought one day, I wore it the next day, and I was like, this is awesome. So I went back and bought 2 or 3 more. So the next thing they had set up for you, and I'm kind of tackling what TwitchCon has provided before we start tackling what the booths provide and all that. But the next one is the Velveeta sponsored streaming area. So this was really cool. In the background here, I'm going to have a video playing of a clip of my stream from this station. There were about 30 computers, it looked like. At this station, you could wait in line to use a gaming PC to stream anywhere from 1 to 4 hours, depending on how busy they are when you arrive. This line actually took a little bit longer than most other lines, because although they had multiple stations, you had to wait for others to end their Twitch streams. So, they're limited on how long they have to do that, but you still have to wait an hour, or maybe not an hour, but it depends when you get there, like I said. I thought this was awesome, and it was actually one of my favorite parts of the convention. One thing that I appreciated about this area is the PCs themselves. If you're somebody like me, I have a 3060 graphics card, but I have an Intel i5 processor. My computer, it works for what I do, but it could have upgrades. It's not top of the line. These PCs were relatively high tech. They had 3090 graphics cards, an unreleased microphone. I didn't get some of the information on the brand because I just took a quick peek. I was limited on time. but it was an unreleased microphone, I believe an unreleased webcam. These computers also had i11 processors, and like I said, the awesome webcam. So I didn't look too far into the specs, but there were some pre-installed popular games, and they gave us permission to install something that we wanted to play if it wasn't already on there. And they had OBS set up here, and they had a preset overlay, so it's kind of janky. It's different than my normal stream experience, but they really tried to make it so you could hop on, log on to whatever you wanted to play, and just enjoy yourself streaming from San Diego Comic-Con or TwitchCon. So I really enjoyed that area. Not everybody did it because they were there for more of the experience and didn't care to do what they already do, but I thought it was really cool, especially since that computer was much better than what I currently work with. So now, if you weren't somebody who was streaming but you wanted to game still, there was also a LAN gaming station section with about 6 rows of computers to just game on and enjoy yourself. I didn't do anything in this section particularly. Some of my group did, but there was never a time I didn't see this area less than 80% full. It seemed really popular, and if those PCs were anything like the ones at the streaming station, it was a great opportunity for you to try your favorite games with better components than you might have in your own PC at home. So the wait times for this gaming area seem to be less than that of the streaming area because you don't require as much space for regular gaming, when you're not streaming, which allows for additional gaming PCs to be set up. Now, in terms of gaming gear representation, I really wasn't disappointed. There were a lot of big names. Companies like Corsair, Razer, HyperX all had their own booths and offered some really great convention deals. Many brands were offering early access purchase for unreleased products or sharing information for the first time on unannounced products. And there was a lot of these places that had free stuff for you checking out their station. There were like claw machines, keycaps. I wanted to show you guys. HyperX was giving out keycaps because they had a claw machine, and if you didn't get anything, they still gave you keycaps for participating. And I thought I had them right here, but I did not. Oh well. Now, I was a little underwhelmed. This is one of the cons of the con. I was a little underwhelmed by the gaming representation. So I know that streaming has evolved to a point far beyond just gaming, but it is still a large portion of creators' content. And while the lack of gaming representation may not be Twitch's fault, I would have liked to see some other games in this mix. Like Phasmophobia is huge on Twitch, Fortnite, Overwatch, or maybe just more gaming booths in general. Maybe my problem was not the specific games, but the lack of games at this event. Raid Shadow Legends, which I love. I got 4 free hats from Raid Shadow Legends with their claw machine and talking about my old sponsorships with them. Goose Goose Duck, 7 Days to Die, Valorant, and I say a few others, but it was really minimal how much gaming representation there was. I mean, there were the gaming booths, the people who provide your keyboards, and everything to provide a great gaming experience, but games themselves weren't really represented here, and I thought I would see a lot more of that. As far as the meet and greets go, I only ever heard of a few of the 40-plus streamers that they had stations for. I know of BB Jess, Emma Chamberlain, and Amaranth. And that's about it. I didn't recognize many other names. Maybe that's me being out of touch with the larger names in the streaming community, but it just seemed a little stale. Like those creators I love. Don't get me wrong. I don't really watch Amaranth, but at least I know of Amaranth. But I'm not saying anything negative about those streamers I mentioned. Just everybody else seemed kind of stale. And that may be that's really just my own opinion. I know my group had a lot of people they were really excited to see, but for me it was not as exciting because these names are like people I've never heard of. So that could be on Twitch for not getting more recognizable names. That could just be me because I don't watch a lot of the bigger streamers. It's hard to say, but that was kind of something that definitely affected my experience. That being said, I do have good things to say about the meet and greets. I waited in line to meet BB Jess, and she was amazing, very sweet, a lot of fun. She actually she actually sang happy birthday for somebody in line and got the whole line to sing happy birthday for him. And I was like, that is amazing. Like, way to go. So one of the biggest things I did love about TwitchCon was actually how they handled these meet and greets. Now, I only went through the meet and greet for BB Jess, so it's entirely possible that maybe BB Jess just ran her meet and greet amazingly. You know, maybe we can't attribute that to TwitchCon. But I'm going to assume that the experience I had with BB Jess's meet and greet was standard across everybody else's, aside from different wait times in the line. That just depends on the creator. But you actually got to go talk to the person you were there to see. You didn't have to pay any extra for that. And eventually they capped the line so people really wouldn't be waiting forever. You also got to get autographs if you asked without paying extra, which is awesome. Again, that might depend on the creator themselves. But when I met BB Jess, we were able to have a short conversation, hug, crack a few jokes, and I got her to sign my badge and take pictures and videos with her. I didn't wait in line to meet anyone else, so like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but that was my experience with the one meet and greet I did go to. Now that kind of takes me into my next point. TwitchCon seemed to be an event where the more people you knew in general, the better the time you would have had. There were very popular streamers attending, but not partnered with the event directly. So finding them in the wild, just enjoying the convention themselves, was a huge part of the fun. Now, I do want to preface that by saying all the streamers or creators that were just walking around, like 90% of them loved having people come up to them, you know, from what I could tell. They were very welcoming to it. They said, hey, let's make a line. We'll do a short meet and greet right here. But finding those streamers or creators in the wild was really fun. That was a huge part of the experience for my group. I actually ended up running into Valkyrae when my phone was dead, so I didn't even get a picture with Valkyrae, but I did see her, and unfortunately I was split with my group, so I was within like 6 or 7 feet of her, and there was like a crowd around her, and I was like, I gotta go figure out what's going on with my group, so I didn't actually meet her, but she was like right there in front of me, and I was like, that's so cool that at this event you can kind of just be this close to the people who might inspire you. As far as partnered streamers, like I said before, I hardly knew any of them, and the only attendants I really knew, like regular people attending, were the people I went to this event with. I had a great time, but my lack of connections seemed to really feel like it impacted my experience. Now, I don't mean like network connections, like, oh my god, I know so-and-so and they're gonna get me in here backstage or whatever. I just mean like people in general didn't really seem to care to meet other streamers unless they were streamers that were bigger than them at TwitchCon. So when I was trying ahead of time to meet up with new people, you know, people I've maybe played with once or twice, interacted with on Twitter, that kind of thing, you know, nobody was really open to the idea of it. Now, again, that could be just me. But I essentially attended TwitchCon only knowing the very few partnered streamers, knowing of them anyway, and my main group. So like I said, that did impact the experience of it, in my opinion. And I know that obviously that's a lot on me more than the event, but I do also feel like the event itself should not, the quality of your experience should not be determined by, you know, you preparing to meet everybody so-and-so on your own. You know, they should be preparing the entertainment for you, at least to some degree. So I think they absolutely did do that, but not to a point where smaller content creators can feel comfortable without preparing, you know, scheduling everything in advance, essentially. And that kind of ties into my next concern with TwitchCon as well. I don't really feel like it was only enjoyable for Twitch partners. Affiliates definitely had a good time. But there was a huge separation between the affiliate experience and the partner experience. Depending what size Twitch affiliate you were, some booths would hardly interact with you the way they would others, bigger Twitch affiliates or Twitch partners. This was a huge downfall in my opinion, but since this was a problem, if they addressed it properly, it actually could have been one of the most amazing things about TwitchCon. When you have those different size creators, you have the opportunity to create something like a partner to affiliate mentorship class to help those smaller streamers build those connections and maybe grow beyond just the event themselves. If they built a relationship at TwitchCon because of some of these panels or something, and they were able to work with those creators after the event, that would have been huge. And they did have networking panels, but not like mentorship style. There was nothing bringing the lower affiliate closer to the partners. There was no, and this isn't a clout event. It's not there so you can be like, oh, I'm famous now, blah, 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 blah. But you want to meet new people and you want to feel like you're getting a good experience and yours is the same as someone else's. And that really seems like it wasn't the case there at TwitchCon. Now, there is a ton more I could actually share about this event, but for time's sake, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know down in the comments if you have any specific questions about the event. Actually, I do want to talk about the TwitchCon party before we wrap it up. So, the TwitchCon party, everybody was hesitant on getting the ticket to that. It was about $30. My opinion from start to finish was $30 isn't a big deal. This is a once a year event. I may not go again next year. And I'm going to be there this year. I can spend $30 for the experience, even if it's bad. So I can say I went there. I can see what it's like. And, for me, something like that, I had a hard time believing it wouldn't be worth the $30. And that's just me. Actually, at the event, my entire group was like, I wish I got the TwitchCon party tickets because they heard about some of the things that were happening there. So, I would just say don't limit yourself to events like this. There's really cool opportunities. And just because you don't know if you'll 100% like something, don't let that discourage you. Do some additional research, weigh the odds, see what the price is. But $30 for trying something new for an event like this, I don't think that was I think it was worth getting, in my opinion. And I thought that before even knowing what the event was. Now, after, I believe it was Friday? No, it was Saturday. After Saturday, they did have the TwitchCon party at a stadium in San Diego, right across the street from the convention center. And this was insane, actually. So this entire stadium was reserved just for Twitch people from the event who had the ticket, which means that everything was open. The whole stadium, all the seats. They had different food vendors there for us. Prices were expensive, as you would expect. But since it was just us there, you got to go out to the bottom floor, like right up to the stage. At one point, I was like 12 feet away from the stage. It was essentially a mosh pit without people getting hurt and injured. I'm sure some people did, but it wasn't as destructive as a mosh pit. There were there was Kate Petras and Meet Me at the Altar, who opened for Megan Thee Stallion. And there was a guest appearance. I actually had to leave before Megan Thee Stallion, believe it or not. So I can't speak to her being there. But I had a great time with the other two opening acts, to be honest. It was amazing. And we were so close. I don't even like Megan Thee Stallion, and I never heard of the other two the opening acts before this, but I was just kind of like, I don't go to many concerts where I can be on the floor level right up next to the stage for $30. So I was like, I'm going up there. I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to have a good time. It was really incredible. If I do go in the future, I'm absolutely buying the TwitchCon party ticket. Even if it's less than what I got this time, I have a hard time believing it's not going to be worth it if you have the funds available. Now, there's a ton more I could tell you about TwitchCon, but like I said, for time's sake, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know down in the comments if you do have any specific questions about the event. But back to our original question, was TwitchCon worth it? I'm sure you can tell from this video so far already. Unfortunately, there's not one answer. I will say if you don't prepare for the event ahead of time, then you would probably miss out on the most of the fun that TwitchCon had to offer. For example, if you came without any spending money, you didn't make arrangements to meet up with other streamers, and didn't look at the list of partners attending, and you yourself weren't a famous streamer, there's a good chance you might find this to be a fairly boring experience. Now, speaking directly from my own opinion here, as a Twitch streamer, I have just under 500 followers, and you could help me hit that milestone by clicking the link tree in the description. But I also ask myself if I would attend next year. And I would say yes, if my channel grew a little more in size and I built more connections in the next year. Had I known about TwitchCon what I know now in advance, I might have actually reconsidered attending this year if I was tight on cash, because a small streamer around my size really had to work a lot harder than bigger streamers to enjoy everything to its fullest. And I don't think I did that properly, because it didn't seem like the event where like I said earlier, it didn't seem like the kind of event where you would have to set up the entertainment yourself. You know what I mean? But it kind of was, and I don't think I did that as properly as I should have, considering what the event was. So this year, I could see myself not going. Next year, I do expect my brand to grow a little bit. I don't know how big I'll be next year, but with what I know about TwitchCon from this year, I really think that with the proper preparation, it's worth attending, Granted, I am just like a state over. We drove 6 hours to get there. So to me, that is worth the trip. The cost of the tickets is, and there was so much free stuff as well. Like I said, you got your Twitch affiliate gift or partner gift. You got the bag. I got many different free lanyards. I got a couple free shirts. I got 4 free Raid Shadow Legends hats. And they had a little bit of something for everyone, it seemed like. I didn't really follow the Twitch Rivals stuff at all, but there were a lot of people who were into that. And the theatrics of the Twitch Rivals presentation, you really feel like you got something out of it if you were somebody who went to go see that. But I hope this video answered any questions you had about TwitchCon, and I look forward to seeing what they do with it in the next year or in the future. Thank you guys for watching my videos. Please hit that subscribe on your way out, and I will see you out in the next one.